Painting Rose in oil paints. So basically I've just wanted the background. So I got my sheet of cardboard, stuck some pictures, some text, some bits of paper that had nice texture. I even ripped a bit of the cardboard off. And then I went straight over the top with some gesso. It's gesso. It takes a few minutes to dry. And then, yeah, you're ready to go. So basically I'm going to start by drawing it and then a simple outline, just so I've got the basic shapes, which will help when I'm starting to paint. It's just called Vermilion Hue. Some squirts on my palette, along with some ivory black, which I've already got on there, some titanium white, and some sap green. So, won't need too much of this. I'm using this paintbrush here. It's Royal & Langnickel and it's a size 0. Yeah, I find it's quite useful. You can do anything with it really. That's what I use most of my paintings with. So I'm just going to start by doing the outline of this. Just in that really deep, rich red colour. I do find that when I've drawn in pencil, the oil colour will mix with the pencil, but to be honest that just gives a nice darker outline on the places where I've wanted an outline. So, it's not too bad. Just going to do the light areas as well. I'm using minimal detail at the moment, so I'm going to go back in and add in more shading and highlights. So I'm going to try and accentuate that 3D texture kind of more towards the end when I know the shape of the petal and I know where I'm putting my highlights and shadows. You can see this paintbrush gives quite a textured approach really, but you can easily make it more and more refined. There's a lot more of this red in the middle, and then towards the outside it starts folding in on itself. So here's where I start adding my titanium, my ivory black even. So I'm just going to go around the outside of this petal, just make sure that's clearly defined. Just like this. There are areas where the black is a lot thicker than in other places. That's not a problem. Just do small bits of black at a time, because it can be very difficult to get rid of if you use too much. Some people prefer to mix up their paints on their palette. I do it when I'm painting, unless it's a big block of one colour that I need exactly the same. Just makes it more interesting. The white, just going to keep adding to accentuate more bits, make it look more defined. Continue giving it those shadows. It will really make it come to life. Okay, so I think you get the gist of what I'm doing. Basically what I'm going to do is just going to keep going over the top of that, keep adding shadows, keep adding highlights. Any places where I want this to be more red, I'm just going to keep adding to it, just to bring it out really. I really want to get the curves where the petal just starts to turn in order to make it look velvety, and how petals actually have that really quite smooth look about them. I want to get that from this. So I'm just going to keep going, and I'll show you what happens at the end of it really. I'll then talk to you about the stalk, how I do the bottle, and some of the water. Okay, so this is how far I am. I've just, like I've said, done the shadows, the highlights, anything that I can see in that picture. that I can translate into paint. I'll probably go back and add some more different bits and pieces, but for now I just want to leave it at that, just to show you where I was going to go to next. I like doing everything before going back in to add more detail. So I'm now going to use the sap green, which I showed you earlier. Just going to start by dragging out these leaves that come from the bottom of the rose. I'm going to really fine stroke just to make it look clean and crisp. Then I'm going to grab some white, go around on the inside over here, just to give it that 3D look. Then grab one more colour. This one here is yellow ochre. I've already got some on my palette over here, and I just want to get that yellow tint. Yeah, I'm going to leave you here, show you what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so I've done some more of the stalk, and I'm just going to change a bit of it over here. It just seems a bit too harsh. I wanted to get that rounded effect, and I think that looks a little bit too unrealistic. I just don't like the way it's... Now I'm going to look at the bottle, the top of the bottle, and the way it interacts with the stalk. So it's kind of got grooves in the jar to make the stalk look all strange and distorted. So I'm just going to try and bring across some of this by doing it quite subtly. I'm going to fill back in with the grooves with some more black after I've finished doing some of this jar, so I'll get back to you in a minute. So going on to do the bits with the water now. I've done the glass jar. To be honest, there were so many colours in my white paint in my palette, but a glass jar is going to refract so much light, and so many different colours are going to be bouncing off it. So I wasn't too bothered about that. So I'm just going to do the outline of the water quickly. Starting really dark towards the outside, and then as I come in further, I'm going to reduce the intensity of black. So here we go. It's my rose in a glass jar.